Hey, what's up, guys? Really quickly, before we get into this episode of Pizza and Pixels, where JP and I are going to count down our top 3 favorite games of 2019, I just wanted to let you guys know real quick that on this coming Tuesday, January 14th, myself, JP, and a couple other of my friends are going to be live streaming right here on the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/HexxedPhenom, to raise money for the Australian Red Cross, to try to help those in need that are suffering from the fires that have been going on over there. So, if you can, please donate. The link will be down in the description. And, yeah, like I said, we'll be streaming from 11 a.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern right here on the channel on Tuesday. So please help us out. Share this around. Share the link. Like I said, the link is down in the description. We're also selling t-shirts with this design right here. If you're an audio listener, you can't see it. Sorry. But the link to buy the shirts will be down in the description as well, and the proceeds from those shirt sales will also go to the Australian Red Cross. So please help us raise some money for people in need over there in Australia. And with that being said, guys, let's get into this episode of Pizza and Pixels. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pizza and Pixels, the show where myself and JP order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, Josh, a.k.a. HexxedPhenom, a.k.a. the Sony Jabroni.
Goddamn right.
And, of course, I'm here with my co-host, the abstract rocker, JP.
Damn right.
What's up, JP? Welcome to the show, the final show.
It's good to be back.
Of 2019 for us. It'll be the first show of 2020 for the audience.
So, with that being said, you know, we'll see you next year. Yeah, just cut the podcast short just like that.
No, but before we get into what we're going to be talking about today, I just want to give you guys a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, please ignore the mess behind us for the video viewers. This is just remnants of Christmas wrapping paper and stuff.
Santa Claus came.
Santa Claus was here, and he left all the boxes for us to clean up.
I know, he just couldn't fit in his sleigh, man. Couldn't do it.
Plus, as long as things go according to plan, within the next week or so, I should be back in my normal recording situation. If you guys didn't know, this isn't where I normally record stuff. It's been a temporary thing for a few months. There's plumbing issues in my old recording room / bedroom. It's the same room. But, yeah, hopefully we should be back in there in a week or so, finally. But,
I think that'd be something.
Yeah, so this one might be a bit messy until then. So just apologies for that. But,
Blame
yeah.
Santa Claus.
We got big things coming in 2020 for the channel. I'll be talking more about that in a separate update video, which by the time this comes out, that'll probably already be out. So that'll be linked down in the description if you're interested on YouTube. Of course, for you audio listeners, you'll have to go over to youtube.com/HexxedPhenom. But speaking of youtube.com/HexxedPhenom, this podcast goes live every other Saturday on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom or on podcast services around the globe. Places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, really any podcast service of your choosing.
That rep, though.
And, of course, we already have our pizza ready to order. We're going to wait a couple minutes to do that. But
then the magic will happen.
The big topic today is going to be our top 3 favorite games of 2019.
I'm so stoked.
Of course, our last episode was our top 10 favorite games of the decade with our boy, the King of the North, Tyler.
The King of the North.
But
man, I like how we got all these things running. You know, it's going, man.
The ideal thing would be for everyone that is a guest on the show to have some sort of nickname, but
yo, that means we gotta have Mark on the show.
My son.
Gotta do it. We gotta make a name for him too.
I'm sure he'll be on here eventually, but
yo, I'm stoked.
So that'll be the main topic, but since that probably wouldn't be like a whole episode's worth of stuff, we have some gaming news to talk about. Plus, we recorded that top 10 games of the decade thing a little bit ahead of time. So
yeah,
there is some gaming news we missed throughout December. Mostly the reveal of the Xbox Series X, which is the next generation Xbox.
Is that actually the name, or is it going to be called the Unicorn Bravo?
No, that's its official like retail name, Xbox Series X.
My question is, if it's called Series X, is there going to be like another thing for it then?
That's a good question, JP, and we'll get into that.
Yo, here we go. Bag of joy. Let's get it. Let's get into the news.
The first article we're going to talk about here is from Peter Brown over at GameSpot. And this is Xbox Series X exclusive details meet Microsoft's next-gen console.
Okay, I'm ready. Is there actually an image of it?
Yeah.
It is actually, this is like the real image, not like dev kit anyway.
Yeah, they showed this at the Game Awards. That's the Xbox Series X.
Kind of looks like one of the boxes behind us. Wow.
Yeah, for you guys that haven't seen it, we can show a picture on screen. It basically looks like a PC tower with an Xbox controller.
Yeah, either that or it looks like a nice handy retail box. But wow. I think it's interesting because I'm so used to seeing a console be like wide and like
That's the thing, is it's definitely an interesting form factor for a home console, because
it's a tower.
Pretty much all home consoles that I can think of, except for maybe the GameCube, have been basically, except maybe the GameCube and the Wii, I guess, are all just flat rectangular boxes.
Yeah, now it's like a different shape, which is that's interesting. Wow, I'm curious as to what all this entails here with this tower we got.
The main thing that people are thinking is, because you can kind of see on the top that the top is kind of just a giant vent. So people are thinking that probably at the top here, like right below this vent, is just a giant fan that's just throwing air out the top, because obviously heat rises.
It's a firework.
So it's probably a really effective way of dissipating heat from a box that small.
I was gonna say, I think that might be the only way of actually really dissipating heat.
I mean,
it's interesting, man. Wow.
Granted, this is only like a front quarter shot of it, so you can't see the other two sides of the box behind it. But that's the only vent that you can see on it. I'm sure there's probably vents all along the back, but
I think it's interesting how Xbox literally now has a box-shaped console. Isn't that's pretty cool? I like the logo in the background too with the lasers, and wow, kind of reminds me of the original Xbox.
Kinda, yeah, in a way.
Damn, man, nostalgia's coming back in 2020. Damn. All right, let's hear about it.
All right, so the Xbox Series X console design. Series X's square footprint is roughly as wide as an Xbox One controller, and again, roughly 3 times as tall. There's an illuminated Xbox logo serving as the power button, a slot for inserting discs, and very little else to speak of on that front. It's simple and elegant overall, and a far cry from the modern, elaborate Xbox designs of old. Modern Microsoft consoles like the Xbox One S and Xbox One X lean into similarly refined looks, but Series X's stark aesthetics are unparalleled in the console space. It's also capable of standing horizontal or vertically. To Phil Spencer's point, the Series X design makes sense from an engineering standpoint. In an effort to make the console, quote, disappear into your entertainment center, Microsoft designed it to be as quiet as possible, with a single large fan pushing high volumes of air out of the top. Spencer and Ronald confidently told me that the Series X's systems in their homes are no louder than the Xbox One X, which is to say not noticeably audible while sitting couch distance away from the TV.
Wow, so there's no jet engine?
Hopefully the PS5 follows suit.
No jet engine, no airport runways here.
The name. There's bound to be a lot of folks tripping over the similarities between the names Xbox One X and the new Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I don't
that,
understand.
In all likelihood, will ease up over time. But the fact remains it's a surprising move on Microsoft's part. Who knows, quote, Scarlet may stick around for a while yet, at least in the minds of players.
I still think Xbox 720 would have been a really great name.
Certainly the name Series X also indicates that there might be other series of next-gen Xboxes in the future, and there are plenty of rumors and unconfirmed reports to that effect. Spencer didn't open up or discuss anything in particular on that front, apart from confirming that the potential is there, and the naming convention is in some way designed with other potential iterations in mind. Obviously, Spencer said in the name, Series X, it gives us the freedom to do other things with that name so that we can create descriptors when we need to. So the theory
Series X, that's what
is Series X is going to be the Anaconda Xbox that we've been hearing about. So it's the full-on next-gen, like, more powerful version. And then the Lockhart that we've been hearing about, the cheaper, watered-down version, will be announced at a later date.
And be another
it'll be cheaper. It'll probably be Series S, Xbox Series S. I think the naming is still confusing. It's not any less confusing than Xbox One S or Xbox One X. It's just instead of saying it's just replacing the word with the word one with the word series.
I know. Hey, like I said, man, Xbox 720 would have been pretty damn cool. The Xbox 900 featuring Tony Hawk.
Featuring Tony
Hawk's American Wasteland remastered.
The one thing that I wonder is, like, how they're saying, like, oh, now we have different naming conventions for things. Are they going to go as far as to, like, if there's, like, a Gears 6 console bundle for the Xbox? Are they going to be like, oh, it's the Xbox Series G or something like that? Or is it still just going to be Xbox Series X Gears of War edition?
They're really walking a fine line with these names. Like, these names are getting very fine.
I think when you look at it without the whole Series X thing, it basically just means, like, okay, they're just calling it Xbox. Like, it's the Xbox family of consoles. So it's Xbox and then Series X. But, like, where do you go after that? Like, is the next-gen console going to be Series XX? And then are we going to get to Xbox Series XXX?
Yo, does that mean... Yo, if you pre-order the Xbox Series XXX now, get your packet of Ron Jeremy.
Oh God.
And get the free Cheerleaders Gone Wrong. I know, man. Oh,
pre-order now and get the Girls Gone Wild DLC.
In Dead or Alive 8. I just... Oh, man. Yeah, I have so many puns about it. I mean, that's cool that they're naming it Series X. It's just, I really wish they just kept it simple, because, man, these people are going to get very confused unless you're a straight-up video game nerd.
That's why, as much as some people like to be like, oh, PlayStation's so boring, it's like, yeah, but it's also a very smart business move to just be like, it's a PlayStation 5. And then when they do the smaller version, it's not PS5S or PS5X, it's PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 Slim or PlayStation 4 Pro. Usually they don't even use the moniker Slim. It's just what people refer to it as because it's smaller than the original model, but it replaces the original model after some point.
Man, I remember the original Slim. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be strange because, like you said, it's just like with branding. I don't understand the Microsoft umbrella of branding. They always have the weirdest names. I don't know where the hell they get Windows XP.
It's not just I was gonna say it's not just Xbox. It's Microsoft as a whole. Because they went, like you were saying, they went Windows XP, Vista, 7, 8, 10.
Yeah, it's like it's like they forgot the count. And then in this case, like you said, like what's next? Is it gonna be double X? But then you can't say triple X because that's a direct porn reference.
Xbox Series XL,
featuring the launch title game of Ron Jeremy's Pornomania. Get it now. And get a free dildo with purchase.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they go on with naming the other versions of Xboxes.
It's actually, I don't know, it's like something I look forward to with their names, because you know the names are always going to be something kind of laughable and like something that you'll kind of try to take seriously and it might not stick.
Probably the most logical version, assuming there is console generations after this, would probably be like Xbox Series X2 or something like that.
What if they call it the Xbox Series X squared?
Yes! And it's a perfect square, just like the GameCube. They bring it not full circle, they bring it full square.
And then Nintendo just sues them.
Nintendo would sue the shit out of them.
You know? X squared, I mean, we all know algebra teachers would love that.
Algebra teachers would be so fucking happy.
Maybe they would endorse the console.
All right, moving on, though. Not everything has been given a dramatic makeover. The new Xbox controller shipping with the Series X console looks a lot like the old one. The biggest difference from a distance is the addition of a share button in the middle, implemented to help you quickly share your gaming moments with friends. I was also told that the transition from the face of the controller to the top over the back is slightly more rounded than before, which is likely more of an aesthetic feature than an ergonomic one, but we'll have to wait to see. Streamlining gameplay. The console controller and name reveals were the primary focus of our meeting, but Spencer and Ronald were able to dive into the broad objectives for Series X. They want it to be the most powerful console on the market, but also hope to ensure that it's a console that meets the wants and needs of developers and customers alike. Based on what we know at the time, high-end performance is part of the equation, but so too is streamlining the process of getting into a game and enjoying it. It's no secret that both Microsoft and Sony are pushing next-gen consoles made to offer a near-seamless experience with faster storage and memory and cloud streaming, helping to cut through some of the tedium of downloading, loading, and updating games we've grown accustomed to. Series X will feature an NVMe SSD and use super-fast GDDR6 memory as RAM. Not only will these components help cut down on the aforementioned gaming pit stops, but they will also help you instantly pick up on games where you left off. Xbox One already does this, but Series X takes it a step further. As Ronald explains, today we have the capability of instantly reinstalling the last game that you were playing. Why can't you do that for multiple games? Many players choose to play multiple games at the same time. Being able to instantly jump right back to where I was, those are things that we can do with the platform level to make the gaming experience better. It's really about ensuring there's less waiting and more time. There's less waiting and more time playing, because that's ultimately what we all want to do with a console and with the services that we have. So basically, Xbox Series X is capable of suspending and resuming 2 games at a time. At least 2 games at a time.
It's not bad. I
awesome.
realize, doesn't it seem
I hope
like...
PS5 can do that too.
Yeah, that'd be fucking dope. Doesn't it seem like their aim is always exactly the same? With that line that he said, he always says that, but I think
like the most powerful console.
But you kind of have to say that, because like, even if it truly isn't the most powerful console, you want brand supremacy just to kind of go a little higher.
I think they kind of always do aim for that.
I always think they do.
But I think the only... I mean, Xbox One X is more powerful than the PS4 Pro. There's no denying that.
There's no denying it.
But it also came out a year later.
Yeah.
I think the only other generation where from launch they've done that is create a more powerful console is the original Xbox. But that also came out 2 years after the PS2, I think.
Yeah, because if you notice, Xbox makes that claim every time that Sony is either on a console for about a year, and then it seems like... you can tell that Sony and Microsoft are having fun at like poking out the most powerful console. Doesn't seem like it always goes like this, and then it shifts, and then the plate goes like that.
Well, from what I've heard, early reports are saying that the PS5 is slightly more powerful than the Xbox Series X, at least from the dev kits that they have. Unless they update the dev kits or do something in between, like when the console goes into production that makes it more powerful. But
yeah, they could. And
realistically, from the specs that we know, they're basically the same. It's just going to come down to clock speeds and like the amount of RAM that they use
and exclusives at the bottom of it. And
but that's what even when a console is more powerful or not more powerful, it's the exclusives that are going to sell more consoles. Like, the reason that something like the PS2, I would say, is kind of out of the equation, because the PS2 sold how many hundreds of millions of units because it was the cheapest DVD player. Yeah, but past that, PS3 had an abysmal launch. It was hard to develop for. It was like $600, all this bullshit.
And then, thank God, it came back with 4.
It came back.
5 and...
Well, I mean, it came back to overtake the 360 in sales by the end of the life cycle because of how good the exclusives were. Mm-hmm. Because even in the 360 era, now Microsoft is realizing that they can't just rely on it. But they had 3 pillars, and it was Halo, Gears, and Forza. And those are great games, but when 2 of them are just kind of bro shooters, and then the other one's a racing game, there's not much you can do with that formula.
And the fact that Halo is probably going to be on PS5, like the collection rumors, I mean, they tried for PS4,
there was that Phil Spencer did say that they tried to get it the Master Chief Collection on PS4. But
yeah, so maybe PS5 will be the bro, the bros will be pleased.
It's gonna be so weird, because they are working together with for streaming technology or whatever.
I think it's pretty awesome too, because like, you know, as he was mentioning about clock speed and load times and like all this stuff, like kids today will never understand the struggle with it. And when people explain how rough load times used to be, and just going through like memory and just trying to speed up the experience, they're gonna be like, whoa, what? It's going to be honestly...
That's going to be the big defining feature of next gen. It's going to be just cutting down loading screens as minimally as possible.
Everything, and the streaming capabilities. I just think it's crazy knowing we're at that peak now, and years ago I like dreamt of it. And like now we're living in the history books. That's crazy.
Because the crazy thing to me to think about is there's so many different like just things that you come accustomed to in games nowadays that you don't even really think about it. But you kind of, once you realize it, you're like, oh, they're doing this so that the next, like, room can load in the background, or the next cutscene can load in the background. Things where, like, if you're playing, like, Tomb Raider or Uncharted, and it'll do that thing where you, like, slowly have to, like, shimmy through a rock wall or something like that.
It'll slowly be clocking
and it's
loading,
just,
you know?
in the background, it's loading the next environment, or loading the next cutscene or whatever. Or, most of the time, cutscenes are just... long loading screens.
It's just you get to have entertainment while you look at it.
And that's why there are some games where you can skip cutscenes, but it'll only let you skip cutscenes after they've played to a certain amount of time because the game has to load in the background.
Just like zombies.
Yeah.
But the intro's about 30 seconds to a minute max.
And so
yeah.
I wonder if just because it's like a tropey thing that has just become, or we're just so used to in games, I wonder if they're just going to get rid of stuff like that or not.
I feel like they're not going to, just because I think people expect it, but I think the load times, I feel like, so say you load a Blood of the Dead and like takes 30 seconds for the button to appear in the bottom to skip.
Yeah.
I feel like the skip option will be there like immediately.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah.
Because I mean, who doesn't love watching good ass cutscenes? I mean,
yeah, because that's the thing is like you still need cutscenes to be able to tell a story.
Exactly, to tell a movie a story. It's gonna be crazy. You know what I thought about when you mentioned the shimmy in between a rock to the next environment? One of the first things that I think I have ever seen, and it was like amazing for its time. But now when you look back at it, you like learn the tricks and like what really happened. But Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. No load times.
Yep.
Now, in 2005, that was like the greatest thing, and it really was. But then when you thought about it, it was just environments you would skate through to get to the next environment.
Yep.
And through hacking codes and modding games, I ended up screwing around with ways to like get out of that box and like do different things.
Yeah.
And I was able to disable all of the stuff around it besides the rails and everything. And as I was skating through, I could slowly see the map chunking in and rendering. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool to like just see it. But the no load time kind of was real. It's just, it was really just a playable load screen. It was pretty fun, so it's kind of crazy knowing how far that trickery came.
Yeah.
It's just, that reminded me of that shit. But yeah, so Tomb Raider did that with Between a Rock and stuff like that.
It's not just Tomb Raider, but like
a lot of games did it.
Almost any action adventure game nowadays does it. Tomb Raider, Uncharted,
I'm sure did
frickin'
it. Wow.
Gears does stuff like that. Resident Evil does stuff like that.
I gotta admit though, they play it off very well. I just thought it was cool for like 2005, where it's like, no load. Dude, that was like one of the greatest marketing ploys for a game I have ever seen at that point in time, because no game was able to do that. At least marketed anyway. But crazy shit, dude. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with all the new consoles and the power. And dude, PlayStation Now and the PS5, like, imagine it in your head. How does it look? To me, it just seems perfect.
Everything that we're hearing right now is getting me really fucking excited.
I mean, hell, like I've said before, I don't usually get new technology as soon as it comes out, but in this case, I think I will fully take a chance and get the PS5, because it is looking like a landmark console.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need that moment in my life. I think I need that moment.
I think this might be granted, we haven't really seen much in terms of like,
but this is the first
what
console.
Actual gameplay is going to look like, so we don't know how big of like a graphical leap it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the first console where it's like
a big
not so much of a huge leap in graphics, whereas it's more of like a huge leap in terms of features and stuff like that. So like that, and all the things they can do with the SSD in terms of like cutting back loading times, being able to suspend and resume multiple games, and they've talked about this with PS5 a while ago, which they kind of started doing with PS4 a little bit, where like, you know how on PS4 you can like go on your friends list and see like who's playing what, and you can like click on their name and hit join from their name, but then it has to go over to the game, launch it, wait like the 30 seconds to get to the main menu,
connect to the servers.
Then connect to the servers. They were saying that they're working on for PS5 that as long as you have the game installed, you just click it and you could be in the game within seconds because of the SSD. It'll just fire it right up.
Could you imagine the opportunities with Grand Theft Auto 6 with that feature?
Dude, that'd be fucking...
They'd be like, dude, I need you for
Grand
a
Theft Auto is going to be the biggest improvement in loading times, because that game can load for like 5 goddamn minutes just to get to online.
And first, when you pop it in, you have to install the game, but then you really have to install the game. So I think, and then you get to look at all the cool 3D, 2D photos. I think it's going to be insane to see what game developers and just games in general can benefit from these advances. Like, when I think about it, I have never gotten a console on launch day in my life. I never have. And I played almost every single console that has ever existed, and I have never gotten any of them on launch. That is insane. But the PS5, we're gonna make it happen.
The only one I got on launch was the PS4.
Was that a good feeling? Wait, wasn't that the day when like Call of Duty Ghost came out and like all that stuff? They had like the dual thing, you get the Ghost bundle, and I think I remember that because GTA 5 came out right around that time.
GTA 5 came out the next year. It was 2014.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
It's like September of 2014, I think.
Oh, I mean on like PS3. I think PS3.
PS3, yeah, it came out September
was,
like 15th.
Yeah, is it because I remember standing in line for Grand Theft Auto 5, and people were already getting like the Call of Duty Ghost thing, and then they had to wait, I think, for the full actual console, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because
it was crazy.
Ghost released like November 6th, and then the PS4 came out November 15th, and then the Xbox was the 23rd. So
that was a pretty stacked month.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed came out. Man, I just remember all the cops sitting outside, and they were just getting quota because people, for some reason, people were like being the douchiest of douches that night. They would get Grand Theft Auto 5, and like they would drive by the people in line, and they would literally be like this. They would like be like, they would drive with it like right in people's faces and the posters, and people were like just ripping out, and the cops were getting everybody. It was hilarious. And then the cops came like Grand Theft Auto 5. That was the greatest thing ever, seeing a cop walk in. He's like, yeah, I'll take GTA 5. Good times. Good times.
All
so
right.
we got the order in?
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah. The order has been placed.
So we've got two more news stories. This next one is a little bit shorter. Sony has a patent for a new PlayStation controller, and this could very well be the PlayStation 5 controller. So, on December 26th, Sony was approved for a patent on a new type of PlayStation controller, but it isn't quite clear what Sony intends to do with this controller. The design itself is similar to the familiar DualShock 4 design that most players are used to with the PlayStation 4. The new controller is the same layout for its face buttons, directional pad, and analog sticks. The only real departure on the front of the controller is that there's no PlayStation button visible on the patent's design. The back of the controller is where things get a little more interesting. The patent contains potential designs for the new controller, though they aren't final. That includes 2 new buttons. The new buttons appear to be programmable to perform the functions of any other button on the controller, so you could have them do the same thing as the circle or square buttons, for instance.
We finally have the controller. Oh my god, is this real life? We have the
So basically, PlayStation's own version of a SCUF controller, or Xbox has their Xbox Elite controllers, but they're like $250.
Dude, are those back triggers? Am I looking at that right? Oh my god.
Yeah. So the patent, I don't know if we can show it.
Yeah.
But it's basically just
to tell you the truth, it looks just
back
like
buttons on like the back grips of the controller.
It just looks like it looks like the current PlayStation controller. It just has those 2 back pieces that are on a SCUF controller. And I'm sure the impulse triggers are going to be just modified into the trigger ports, but wow, I never thought I would actually be gaming with like one of the style, like the SCUF style controllers.
And actually,
this will happen.
They announced recently that they're doing a back button attachment for the PS4 controller. I don't know if you saw that.
I think I saw.
But they're coming out with a little thing you can plug into your PS4 controller. Like, it's an officially licensed PlayStation thing. It's like a $30 attachment. You plug it into the bottom of your PS4 controller, and it has the 2 buttons on the back. And people are theorizing
that
they're testing the water on if this is something that people would want for the PlayStation 5.
I really think...
And then it might just be built into the PS5 controller.
I think they should just do it because, realistically, it saves people money.
Could you imagine how good that would look for them if they have it built into the PS5 controller? Meanwhile, Xbox has the Xbox Elite controllers that are like $250.
I really think that's what they're doing. And I mean,
that would be awesome.
I guess in theory they're trying to take it away from like SCUF controllers, but I mean, like, you knew it was
SCUF has more than just the triggers on the back that make it worth the money, but
yeah, that's a nice start just to take people into like a new experience. I think that is probably going to be the controller. And I mean, really, it just looks like a PS4 controller with with back triggers on it. But wow, yeah, I think that's the reason why Sony is doing the attachment for the PS4 controller. That is not bad. Wow. I'm so stoked. I don't think I've been like more excited for a console release date in my life. Probably the only time in my life. This is going to be it.
I'm hyped.
Dude,
I can't wait.
oh,
I can't wait till we get like
I'm so hyped.
till we see the PS5, what the console looks like, what the controller looks like. I want to hear about games. I want Spider-Man 2. I need it.
I want Spyro.
I need Spider-Man. I need a new Crash. I need Spider-Man. I need a new Spyro. I'm still pissed they didn't announce a new Crash game at the Game Awards.
I want a real WB game.
Well, I don't know if we're getting that anytime soon.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I want an AEW video game.
Yeah, we will be getting that sometime soon, hopefully.
Dude, I really think next gen is going to be it, but can you imagine 2K when they see this AEW video game? They are probably going to shit their pants.
At this point, they probably really don't even care.
At this
They're
point, I
just
think
like,
they just gave up.
Whatever.
Hey guys, hey all 10 of you that are left, you guys want to make 2K21? Yeah. My name's already buried, why not?
I just imagine like the people from WWE show up for like a checkpoint on milestones for the game, and it's just like all the developers just like sitting there like doing nothing, and the WWE people are like, "Come on, guys, we gotta get working on the game." And everyone's just like that episode of SpongeBob where he's like, "Nah, I don't really feel like it."
And then they pull out a 40 and just start drinking. Are you drinking on the job? Nah, who really cares, man?
All right, our last news story before we get into our top 3 favorite games of the year
Let's do it.
is some more bad news for Google Stadia Player.
I thought you were about to say
It just keeps getting worse, man.
I mean, Google Stadia, I thought was a piece of shit from the beginning, so this is going to be good.
I thought it was an interesting concept, but it's definitely is coming to show that Google didn't put nearly as much money into this as they should, or time, or care.
Which is funny. They literally have one of the biggest buildings in downtown Manhattan.
They
That is not a
literally
skyscraper.
They literally have like limitless amounts of money, basically.
Dude, literally, they are shitting money.
If they really wanted to invest the time and money and care into this, this could have been something incredible, but well, it's not.
Well, it's not. Well,
so
that was a good segue.
The headline reads, Borderlands 3 is now on Google Stadia. But
oh god,
it's a months old version of the game.
Wait,
it's months behind on patches. Gearbox Software's Borderlands 3 is out now on Google Stadia, but it's a 2-month-old version of the game. Specifically, it only has updates made as of October 24th. Any tweaks to Borderlands 3 since then aren't yet in the Stadia version. So what's the big deal? Well, that means there's no Mayhem 4 difficulty, bank space, dedicated loot pools for bosses, or the new endgame content.
What?
Gearbox says it wants to bring, quote, feature parity for all versions of Borderlands 3 in early 2020, but didn't give an exact date. Borderlands 3 on Stadia is available at a, quote, special launch price until January 7th of $38.99 for the standard edition, $51.99 for the deluxe edition, and $77.99 for the super deluxe edition. Gearbox said it'll run in 4K with a Stadia Pro subscription.
With Stadia Pro,
which is $10 a month.
It was $10 extra, eh?
On December 17th, Google Stadia also added Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 to its lineup. Today, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint is up.
Well, is that the original patch for that too?
Probably. Google Stadia launched on November 19th, 22 games, but with a bunch of promised key features. Google has been slowly rolling out more games and features in the months. That's literally the entire article.
So what you're telling me is...
So they don't even have a reason. There's no reason why it's not the most up-to-date version of the game.
So what they're basically saying is this is just kind of just a watered-down streaming service. But the thing is, they have all the exploits that anyone has ever found from Borderlands 3 accessible. And it won't be updated.
As of October 24th.
As of October 24th. So if you have Google Stadia and you want to exploit your game, you might as well get on, because Google Stadia's got you covered.
I don't know if like the game is just sitting dead in the water and won't be updated until they get that feature parity type thing going in 2020, or if they're just slowly implementing old patches to the Stadia version. I have no idea, but how is this a thing? Like,
it doesn't make sense, because if Google is so almighty and has so much money, how could they not give Gearbox any demand they wanted to get the up-to-date game.
My thing is probably what was supposed to happen was Google probably had it lined up so that Borderlands 3 was meant to launch on Stadia on the actual release date of Google Stadia, which was at the end of October.
Oh, that's
and so that was probably the version of the game they submitted to the store. And then for whatever reason, Stadia's like, oh, we only want to launch with like a couple games for some reason.
And no one decided
so like,
to call
let's
Gearbox.
just hold off Borderlands until like the middle of December for some fucking reason.
And they're probably like, yo, guys, Borderlands been patched. What should we do? Yo, did someone call Gearbox? Nah, man, I'm too busy just fanning myself on my money. Aw, man, I'm sorry. I would have done it, but I'm being Scrooge McDuck in my bathtub of money.
That's literally the only possible thing I could think of is the version that they submitted to the store was version, say, 1.09 or whatever. And just no one bothered to change it after they were like, no, we're delaying the release on Stadia for a couple months.
Well,
for some, like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me.
Honestly, I think, to tell you the truth, I think by the summer of next year, Google Stadia is going to be done.
Unless they
turn this around, man.
Unless all of the features that they promised in their initial announcement are implemented and working within the next year and a half, if that's not the case, then I think Google Stadia is going to die.
Yeah.
Die a painful death.
Sad part is it didn't even get off the ground floor. It already crashed. Man. I mean, I think it's kind of just weird how Google even attempted to, like, somehow kick the door in to Sony and Microsoft. It's like Sony kicked the door in to rob a bank, and everyone in the bank had guns.
I could see why they thought that the idea of game streaming would be appealing.
It would be appealing.
But I don't think, even with Google's massive amount of possible funding, I don't really think they're funding it as much as they'd like us to believe. I think
so it's a sham.
that it's just not, we're not there yet. We don't have the infrastructure for that to be a normal thing.
I just think Google just was like, well, let's do. It was like Ted Turner. With
they were
WCW.
probably just like,
let's do something and try to compete with the big
some
boys.
random like intern probably walked into a boardroom one day and he was like, hey, look at this. Sony made some $100 billion from PlayStation this year, so let's make video games. And they were like,
yep.
And someone misconstrued it somewhere and was like, this person probably was just like, hey, let's like buy development studios and make a game that way. Google was, whoever the higher ups were was like, we're making a gaming platform. And they're like, well, we're Google, so it's got to be a streaming service. People want the Netflix of games, so let's give it to them. And they did not give it to them. They did very much the quite opposite.
And then they sat there and they played the xCloud and they played PlayStation Now and they were like, you know, guys, I don't think we can do this, but we're gonna try to make it happen. My perfect example is it's just like Ted Turner when he bought WCW. Ted Turner, billionaire for anyone who doesn't know the whole thing. So essentially, you know, he wanted to get into the wrestling business. And he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy out the AWA end and the NWA and we're just gonna make WCW. And we're gonna rebrand it, we're gonna make it where the big boys play. And basically all it was, I mean, WCW I liked. It's just compared to the Google Stadia, it's kind of the same form because they promise so much and really it's just literally funded by just Google's checkbook, essentially. And it's not working and it's gonna die. But they're trying to compete and put Sony and Microsoft under. But it's not gonna work. That's what I'm getting from it.
I feel like maybe in like 5 to 10 years when we have an infrastructure in place that can handle something
Stuff
like that. Because
maybe.
it's like for movies and TV it works because it's so much less data that you're streaming compared to a game where
it's a lot of crazy
you're
stuff.
interacting with things. And I mean, games are like some games go up to like 100 gigs.
Yeah, like you
have to have that almost all loaded at one time, especially in games where you can, like open world games where you can just go fucking wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah, well,
like Red Dead or GTA. Like, you have to have the whole
map
has to be,
or at least something,
ready to be loaded in at a moment's notice. And with streaming, it's not how it works. It doesn't work that way.
I was kind of wondering how Grand Theft Auto 5 is holding up on PlayStation now without being downloaded.
I wonder.
Because, like,
I'm sure it's not a very good experience.
You know,
unless you have great internet.
I'm kind of tempted just to, like, stream it and let you know how it is. I don't know, though. That might be a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I'm sure.
Especially if you're trying to play GTA Online. The single player might not be too bad, but online is going to be a fucking disaster.
Yeah, like, I don't even know. But yeah, you know, Google Stadia, I would compare the WCW, except WCW under Ted Turner will last way longer than Google Stadia will. I think Google Stadia, it's already, like... We're already fast forwarding to, like, WCW at the end of 99. You know?
I give Stadia, in its current condition, 2 years max.
Yeah, I honestly...
Unless they really do something big to turn it around.
Unless they do something really impressive with it, I think it's going to be dead next year at some point.
Yeah.
They might just give up.
2 years is kind of like devil's advocate, benefit of the doubt kind of thing.
It's kind of like, all right, we're going to pull it together, but I don't know, we might not be able to pull it together. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be interesting.
All right, but now the big button topic. It only took us 40 minutes to get there.
I gotta admit, though, I think it kind of worked out, though, because usually this podcast is, around an hour?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, so I think it kind of worked, just combining all the ideas into one. All right, this is it.
But we're going to be talking each of our top 3 favorite games of 2019. Last year, if you guys remember, the very first episode of Pizza and Pixels, we did our top 5, each of our top 5's favorite games of 2018. 2018 was a fantastic year.
2018
this year
was very slummed down, in my opinion. There were
a
good
little
games,
bit less so. There was still quite a lot of good games, but we didn't play as many games as we did last year.
I personally, I had the top 3 was so easy for me, and I got the number 4, and I started choosing games, but then I realized they came out the very end of last year, which does not count. So I thought about it for a good week and a half, and I got nothing. And realistically, I don't know. I think a top 3 is even better than a top 5 if the circumstances call for it. So we got our banging list. So without further ado, let's get on into it.
Just because I had them written out already, I'm just gonna throw out 3 honorable mentions. I literally just slapped this one on here today. I have The Division 2, because I didn't even realize that it came out this year, but it came out in March of this year, and I just started playing it a few days ago, but I'm having a ton of fun with it. I don't think that it would be fair to put it at the top of the list, because I haven't finished it, and like I said, I've only been playing it for like 2 or 3 days, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I just got it for Christmas, but yeah, I'm having a ton of fun with it. Resident Evil 2 Remake, I know Tyler's going to be mad at me for this not being on my actual list, but in my defense...
At least you got the third.
I haven't really played the game all that much. Like,
it was like nostalgia, and then it went away.
Well, I don't have nostalgia for Resident Evil. I never played the Resident Evil games anymore.
Oh, okay.
Other than I played like 2 missions of Resident Evil 5 on, I think, the PS4 re-release. Or did that get a PS4 re-release? Or did I play the PS3 version? I think I played the PS3 version of RE5. But like I said, it was only like the first 2 missions, so I don't really have any affinity for Resident Evil. I started playing it because Tyler brought up the idea to me of him wanting to do like a speed run on the Extra Life stream, which we did this year. And so the way RE2 works is there's 2 playable characters, and you can go through an A scenario and a B scenario with both of them. And so Tyler was like, I want to do, I don't remember what it was. I think he wanted to do Leon A and then Claire B. So he's like, would you be interested in streaming beforehand, us playing through, or me playing through Claire A, Leon B? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So we streamed, we went through Claire A, like a couple months before the Extra Life stream. Then we never got the chance because we were so caught up in doing the WWE videos because we fell so far behind last year that we never got the chance to do my Leon B. And then the Extra Life stream came and went. He did his 2 parts. And then from all the trophies he had got, I was like 85% of the trophies. So I was like, whatever. Eventually I'll go back, get the trophies. Might as well. And then, so Tyler left the copy of the game here, and I never went back to it. And I didn't realize that it wasn't his copy of the game. It was apparently it was his friend's copy of the game, which I didn't know. And had I known that, I would have not held on to it for so long.
Oh my god, wow, what? It was his friend's copy?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Jesus.
So had I known that, I would have not held on to it for as long as I did. But, so then eventually he's like, oh yeah, like, it's my friend's copy of the game, and he kind of wants it back. So if you want to get the platinum, like, try to go back and get it, like, relatively soon. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And
damn,
then so...
dude.
I sucked at the game, so it was like taking me way too long to get shit done because I didn't know how the fuck to solve any of the puzzles. Like, I'm so bad at fucking puzzles in games. And so, for the most part, Tyler basically played the whole game for me.
Yeah, hey. You got the plot,
it was
though,
fun. Right? Yeah, I did. It was fun, but it's just like, I don't know. I also kind of feel weird for, like... I would hate to put a game on my top whatever games list that I technically didn't really play all myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, to me, that's why it's an honorable mention. And then my last honorable mention is Need for Speed Heat. I think it is a huge step up from Need for Speed Payback and Need for Speed 2015. I think they're going in a great direction with it. I hope they continue in the direction they're going. Heat definitely reminds me of a modern-day Most Wanted or a modern-day Underground. Like I said, I hope they keep the vibe up. It was an amazing game. I think the campaign was way too short. I think there's not enough, like, stuff to actually do in the world. But nonetheless, a great game.
Still a great game.
And so, yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions, or?
I honestly don't. I just went right to the top 3, and to tell you the truth, like, I gamed a lot, but then I realized when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I really didn't play a lot of, like, games that came out in 2019. It was mainly fall 2018, like Spider-Man and Red Dead and, like, all these other games. I'm like, damn, they came out in 2018. I'm like, fuck, I can't do that for the list.
Well, I almost guarantee we probably both have the same number 1, so... But
I possibly.
I am gonna go with my number 3 first, and some people might agree with this, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually put it at number 3, but as of right now, I'm gonna say that it is. My number 3 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, from a multiplayer perspective, multiplayer definitely does have its problems. It's still... At the point that it is now, it is fun. It is I'd say a great Call of Duty game. It definitely kind of is going back to its roots, which I like. I like that it's a more like gritty, more realistic kind of thing. Like I said, multiplayer does have its own issues. I wish it had... I mean, now we're getting, like, DLC drops free DLC drops, I should say, every couple weeks. It does kind of stink that of the DLC maps, at least for, like, the regular 6v6 maps, we've gotten 1 new one and, like, 4 remakes already.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was literally... The new one was Shoot House, which is basically the game's version of, like, Nuketown. It's, like, a small 3-lane... map, like your typical Nuketown kind of thing.
Alice wasn't
but then there was they brought in Crash from COD 4, they brought in Vacant from COD 4, they brought in Shipment from COD 4.
Wow. Wow, okay.
Is there another one? I think that might be it. But and people have found in the files for Rust, Terminal,
so
a bunch of Modern Warfare 2 maps, stuff like that.
So basically this game is like obviously it's a really good COD. Honestly, it's my number 3 too, so we might as well just keep talking about it. But I physically have not put it in my console, but I have gotten hands-on with the game, and honestly, it really is a great Call of Duty game. I haven't played multiplayer, obviously, because I was not going to ruin my friend's records, but I was like, okay. And like Spec Ops, I can't wait to dig into Spec Ops with you.
Spec Ops is fucking hard as balls.
That might be like my most looked forward to part of the game besides experiencing the new campaign, the rebooted campaign.
The campaign is fucking fantastic. I was going to get into that. The campaign is fucking amazing.
I was going to say, I heard the campaign is fucking fantastic, so I'm going to take your word for it. The game itself, man, I think it's interesting how it's literally just a lot of remake maps, because I heard the multiplayer has its problems. Did they ever add a map select vote?
Nope, not yet.
Wow.
I don't even know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if they are.
That's just like Infinite Warfare launch without leaderboards and everything.
Yeah.
That was strange.
Apparently, what they're...
Season 1.
There's not, like... The developers literally haven't responded to, like, the fact of there not being a map vote system yet. And people are, like, claiming that they might not want to put one in because if the opposite map gets voted for, then, like if... Say if it's, like, Shipment and
Dude, Vacant is such a good
Vacant
map. Oh
are
God.
the two, like, maps up to vote. And let's say it's, like, 5 votes Shipment, 6 votes Vacant, and then Shipment loses. I guess people are saying, like, oh, well, then those 5 people will leave or something like that, and they don't want that to happen. So it's just, like, it just locks you into a map and that's it. But
then
that
again,
really just has the same effect, because if I hop into a lobby and I see
you see
it
a
pops
map
up and
you
it
don't
pops a
wanna play.
shit map, I'm just like, nope, back out.
Yep. So.
Or if I just start loading into a shit map, I'm like, nope, and then I quit out. So either way, it's going to be the same effect. I don't see what the difference is. Really, just adding a map vote system, I think, would decrease it.
They might as well just.
Or even the vote to skip thing from the early Modern Warfare games worked just as fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's been
I don't
like,
know. It's been in Call of Duty
for
since
years.
COD 4.
Yeah, I was just saying that why stop now? That's the only weird part that I have kind of against the game.
That's one of my biggest gripes.
Yeah, because I want to play multiplayer with you guys, obviously, you know.
Granted, now they have like they have a couple of different playlists rotating in and out that are like specific map, like mosh pits.
Like Shoot House 24/7.
Yeah, so like Shoot House 24/7, or I think the one right now is called. This week it's Shoot the Ship, so it's Shoot House and Shipment 24/7 and stuff like that. And like I think the week before it was Shipment and Vacant 24/7. So stuff like that, like,
wow,
helps because.
Oh man,
I just wish there was a map select, like a map vote.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I was gonna probably bump it to number 2, but then when I really thought about it, I'm like, well, there's a lot of things that I kind of don't like. Mainly the multiplayer aspect of how they handled it, but. Yeah, dude, the campaign I heard is fantastic.
For me, it's the campaign that pushes this onto into the top 3 for me.
Same, because like I was waiting to see what they would do. I heard it was fantastic, and I heard that Spec Ops is completely revamped in terms of what you can do 4 people now instead of 2. Yeah, and there's new scenarios.
Honestly, I have not touched Spec Ops at all because I haven't had anyone to play with. But
I think that time has changed.
But yeah, obviously no spoilers for the campaign, but. So fucking good.
I'm just stoked that it brings real life events into like the campaign.
Yeah,
too, like
the campaign all the way through it's so good. Like I don't want to get too much into it.
It's just fucking fantastic, and I can't wait to play it.
The set pieces are cool, just like the different mission types and stuff, and like what you're doing, and like the twists and turns along the way and stuff. It's so awesome. And the ending is so fucking fantastic, like the end credit scene or whatever you want to call it. So fucking good.
So I will ask you this, and this isn't really spoilers. I guess people are probably thinking it's already coming. So from this point with Modern Warfare being rebooted and knowing that Black Ops is probably going to do the same thing next year, do you think there is going to be a new Modern Warfare trilogy? Or do you think
I don't know about trilogy, but
you think it might come back?
From the ending, it's quite obvious that they're at least going to do Modern Warfare 2 again, or whatever they want to call it.
Or a new Modern Warfare. Yeah,
they're going to do at least one more.
Okay, I was just saying, a lot of my friends are like, I'm pretty sure there's going to be like one down the road, not a direct sequel, but maybe like Modern Warfare and yeah. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That got me pretty excited.
I think it would be confusing if they called it Modern Warfare 2 again.
Oh,
but it'll probably be like Modern Warfare Price's Revenge. No, that wouldn't make any sense. But just something like that.
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare.
Yeah. I think it's gonna
Modern Warfare Series X.
Series X. Yeah, I'm just stoked that they did it. I mean, I think at this point they were kind of just backed into a corner where they had to make this game because the other games were all horrible.
I mean, Infinity Ward kind of did have 2 shits in a row with Ghosts and then Infinite Warfare.
The third one. I feel like Ghost 2 might even be a possibility now. So I feel like
maybe after Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, but we're still
whatever, you know what I mean.
We're still waiting for the goddamn remaster of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. That will eventually
That leaked like 3 years ago.
And it keeps leaking every damn year. And I'm like, can I just play? I love the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, so I'm ready. But I guess we should move on to number 2, and I guess I'll start it since we both had number 3 at the same game.
Yeah, so if you guys missed it, number 3 for both of us was
Modern Warfare. Can't wait to dig into it now. I got for Christmas.
So
my number 2,
GP, the abstract rocker, with his number 2 favorite game of 2019. Hit us with
2.
it. GP.
Wreckfest. This game, well, okay, so this is an interesting story. It's on my list because I'm a console gamer. If you were on PC where they got greenlit and backed and you got to see the game grow, which is totally fucking awesome if you got to do that because the game is incredible.
See, I actually don't know a lot about this game. Like, the name sounds familiar, but I have no idea what it is.
Dude, even if you want to stream this at some point or anything, or come over and play it at my house, yo, feel free to. So basically, this game summed up very quickly is Demolition Derby remastered with a whole new studio doing it with their own theme and twist on Destruction Derby races, Destruction Derby itself. They added in things like you could do gimmicks like tractor destruction races. You could race on couches. You could race on like outhouses. Like they just basically took Destruction Derby.
You know what? I'm gonna look this up because I feel like I've seen this game before.
Yeah, like dude, the physics are insane. The graphics are great. The environment and how it could be destroyed at any moment. It's incredible, and they bundle all this into a great racing experience, a great destruction experience. The career mode literally could not have been better for what they were working with. The DLC is cheaply priced and very, very good. It's like $4 for like 5 cars. They have monster truck add-ons now. Yeah, they have like crazy loop-de-loops. It's insane. You never know what you are going to see with Wreckfest, and he's actually watching it right now.
Yeah, I'm watching the PS4 release trailer.
And like for real, like the damage model is right on point. Like this is exactly what anyone who loved Destruction Derby and what it stood for will love. Guaranteed. And that's why that is my number 2, because number 1, I think we may have the same one, but I am an absolute geek. Yeah.
Dude, this looks awesome.
It is.
How have I not fucking played this?
It's so good.
It kind of reminds me of the Flat Out games too.
Yes.
In like its aesthetic a little bit.
It's essentially their answer to Demolition Derby and Flat Out, except remastered and made to a realistic point of view. You could do crop dusters. Awesome. You could race crop dusters. You could have muscle
See, the cool
cars.
Thing about,
like, look at that
that's
shit.
That's awesome, dude.
Some guy sent me through a billboard the other day. I got absolutely destroyed.
See, the cool thing about this is like they did a Flat Out on. I think they did Flat Out 4 on PS4, and it literally is like a PS2 game basically. Like there's no physics. Yeah. It's a floaty ass game. Like it was basically just a cash grab.
Yeah, like you're seeing like RVs.
This looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, there's like RVs. You could do 18-wheelers. You
Dude,
could do
that's
stock.
Fucking awesome.
You could do crop dusters. You could do stock cars, and it's only like I think it's like $50 or something. It's not even $60.
That's awesome.
My buddy Derek actually showed me what Wreckfest fully was when it came to consoles this past August. That's why this is on my list. But Byers has been playing it for a while, since it was in alpha and beta, and he got to tell me what was happening, and then Derek showed me the finished thing, and I was like, dude, I have to get it for Christmas, and I did, and I played it, and dude, I sat down and I played that for at least 5 hours straight.
Nice.
It's cool, and the way you could race online in any of the scenarios, like you can go in and have like a battle royal with just tractors. You could do
that sounds awesome.
My favorite is the courses. The courses are all in real life or inspired by real life tracks, and you could do figure eights, which they call the Hateful Eight, because you collide in the middle of the course. You could do full spirals that just go like this. out of nowhere, and you have to go backwards in the oncoming traffic.
That's awesome.
There's death races on there. Dude, it is just insane.
Yeah, it sounds like... It does sound like a combination of, like you were saying, Demolition Derby and Flat Out.
Yes.
But the thing that I didn't see in that trailer, that was one of my favorite parts of Flat Out... Did you play the Flat Out games?
Here and there, I dabbed into them a bit.
One of my favorite things about Flat Out was the, like, totally unrelated mini games where you would, like, launch the driver out of the fucking car and play, like, bowling or pool or fucking, like...
Yeah, I do remember
rock
that.
skipping and shit.
Yeah, because I think they want to do that. I just think right now they were focused on building a game. I think they're going to start adding these little miscellaneous... Like,
Dude, that'd be awesome, because that was by far my favorite part of the Flat Out games.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they have monster trucks now as DLC. They have golf carts as DLC.
That's awesome.
They have an outhouse.
I'm definitely going to look into this game, actually.
I mean, hell, even after I'm done, like, jonesing on it, I could just lend it to you for, like 2 weeks or something, just to see if you want to, or even a month, depending on what happens. You can even play it at my place, because I feel like I may have just sold Josh on this video game.
Dude, it looks fun as fuck.
Dude, it's so much fun. Like, Byers has a wheel now, and he's like, dude, we gotta play Wreckfest online. I'm like, dude. So
that would be fun to mess around with on stream, or maybe even the extra live stream later in the year.
Dude, for real, like, even if you want to, like, immediately jump into that on Twitch or something, you would probably get a lot of people tuning in, because the game just got really red hot, because everyone was like, well, when it came out, a lot of the hardcore fans bought it, and then everyone saw it for a few months, and then Christmas came, when you don't have to spend your own money on something, so they're like, Wreckfest, and then everybody just fell in love with it. All my friends got it, and they're like, dude, it is, like, one of the greatest games I've ever played. I'm like, yes.
Nice.
So, Wreckfest number 2.
All right. My number 2 is a game that is a sequel to a 7-year-old game that I actually just played this year. That is Borderlands 3. So even though Borderlands 2 came out 7 years ago, I only just played Borderlands 2 as part of the Handsome Jack collection when it came out for PlayStation Plus members in June. And right around the same time, well, actually, like, literally right at the same time, I got told that I couldn't work for a couple of months because of a foot injury. So I was off pretty much the entire summer with a foot injury, and I spent like 95% of my gaming time that summer just grinding through Borderlands 2. I played through the pre-sequel once, but something about Borderlands 2 just kept me coming back for more. And I played through a regular playthrough with every character, and then my main character, I played 0, and I went through and I did my regular playthrough. I 100%ed. I went and I did True Vault Hunter mode, which is like the New Game Plus. And then I went through again and did Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, which is New Game Plus Plus. So, like, enemies are even more difficult, even more XP, all this other stuff.
Basically, you were a fiend.
I played the ever-living crap out of Borderlands 2. Like, so I basically just devoured everything Borderlands 2 had to offer within like 3 months, and then by the time I was done with Borderlands 2, like, finally, like, okay, I'm done. And sadly enough, even though I did all that, I don't have the platinum for Borderlands 2. Because I need one trophy, and it's literally just to revive someone who's on your friends list.
Oh, is this when you were talking about Tyler to do it and help you with it?
Yeah.
Was this the jab? Okay, I remember you, I remember you threw a jab
I was like,
okay.
Because I asked Tyler a while ago. I was like, hey, did you happen to get the Borderlands Handsome collection when it was free for PlayStation Plus? And he goes, yeah, but I don't have it installed. I was like, would you mind installing it one of these days, just really quick, so I can get a trophy? You just need to go down and I need to revive you.
How long has it been since that conversation?
Like, that was probably like the middle of July.
God damn it, Tyler. You get on there and you were like,
and every now and then I just subtly jab at him. I'm like, oh, well, I would have the Borderlands 2 platinum.
Okay, so that
if I could revive a friend.
Didn't you make that jab in the top 10 games of the decade?
Yeah.
I was just say, yeah.
It was when we were hanging out to record it, but I don't know if we were recording.
In the recording or not. Yeah, he made a jab, and when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, so this is where the jab came from to Tyler about the platinum. It's like, damn it, Tyler, you got to lay down and get revived.
But so I think it's such a what's the word? It's such a testament to how good Borderlands is that I got basically 3 months straight of Borderlands, and then with only a couple weeks off, I was so fucking hyped for Borderlands 3. And people who are like not hardcore fans of Borderlands, and I wouldn't even consider myself that hardcore of a fan, even though I like played the fuck out of Borderlands 2, but I haven't been a fan for that long. But people outside of like the Borderlands fandom will kind of just see Borderlands 3 as, well, it's just more Borderlands, like why do people like it so much? And that's because that's kind of all the Borderlands community wanted, was just more Borderlands. Because that's what it is. I mean, there's not much that you can do to evolve Borderlands outside of, like, quality of life improvements, you know what I mean? Because, like, the thing that makes Borderlands so great is its base formula. And if you stray too far from that, I think you'll lose...
You're going to lose what made it magical.
You'll lose the special sauce, basically, yeah.
You're going to lose the sauce.
Because what it is one of the most interesting things about it, obviously, is the art style. The, like, comic booky, cel-shaded art style. That's one of the big parts of it. And then it's, like, the childish, like, kind of Family Guy, Simpsons-esque humor. And those two things combined in the package of a first-person shooter that's also like a loot shooter RPG is just such a different and unique thing, especially at the time when it first came out. It was very much the first of its kind. And that formula just works so incredibly well.
Yeah, and I gotta say, as I haven't played the Borderland main series, but I gotta say the Telltale game was really, really damn good. So I will say that about Borderlands. Other than that, seeing and watching it, the game is very interesting. It's just not my cup of tea, but it's fun to watch. No doubt.
It's so much fun, like the different combinations of weapons and, you know, just like the different way. Even though there's only 4 characters that are like 4 different classes basically, but you can spec your build out so many different ways that like it's limitless possibilities on how you can build out your character. Some builds are good, some builds suck. You kind of figure out which ones work for your playstyle and for your character. Really the only bad thing I can say about the game is something that doesn't make sense to me, is that even though there's no... Unless they plan on adding it down the line, and maybe that's why they're doing it. As of right now, there's no player versus player interactions in the game whatsoever. And so, which, I don't have a problem with that. It's a co-op shooter. That's fine with me. But the thing for me is they keep going through and, like, nerfing random shit. Like, just balancing things. And I'm like, I get it, but, like...
Maybe they're planning on adding it then if they're nerfing things. It's the only thing
It's so weird to me, because it's like, it's not like you're making anyone else's experience worse by having a gun that's really good, you know what I mean? It's only benefiting you and like the 3 other people you play with, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like I know when the game first came out, the character I picked to play ended up having this one specific build that you could do. I won't get too into the weeds with it, but long story short, one of the abilities that he has, you can pick 3 different main abilities for him. One of the abilities he has is he can turn invisible, and while he's invisible, any shot that he lands on an enemy is automatically a critical hit, which normally your critical hits would only be from headshots. And so there's an augment that you could do for that ability, because normally that ability will wear off after 3 shots from any weapon. There's an augment for that ability, which made it so that you can hit, or you could shoot an unlimited amount of times, and it wouldn't wear off, so it would just be on a timer then. Instead of your 3 shots, it would be on like an 8-second timer or 10-second timer or whatever it is. And so if you built your tree out a specific way to take advantage of that, you could just like go into like a giant boss solo and just quick pop that ability and shoot them like 4 times and just melt them in seconds. Like I have a video on my PlayStation somewhere of me melting like the one boss in the game in like 6 seconds flat.
Jesus Christ.
But then they nerfed the shit out of that, and you can't do it anymore.
So it was like Papa in Crash Bandicoot, practically.
Pretty much.
Except shooting with a gun. Wow, that's crazy.
And it's just like, I don't know, like something like that, like, why the fuck does it matter if I just keep going killing this boss every couple seconds? Like, I don't.
I know, right?
If it's not affecting anyone else, why ruin my fun just for no reason, really? Unless they plan on adding some sort of player versus player interactions.
I feel like they might be if they're doing that, unless they just don't want to ruin people's fun. But then again, Borderlands is kind of all about
I can see fixing
fun.
glitches and like exploits and stuff, but I don't know. Like adjusting stuff like that kind of seems dumb to me. Or at least nerfing stuff. If someone like I know specifically there was some characters that certain builds of certain characters were underperforming in the end game, so like say you wouldn't be able to deal as much damage as you were intended to, or things like that. That makes sense to adjust to bring it back up to normal. But to bring things that are like super fun and super overpowered down kind of just seems, I don't know, it seems weird to me. But that would be my only complaint for the game. But other than that, fucking amazing. I love Borderlands 3. The first DLC just came out the other day. I haven't finished it yet. I finished the main part of it, but I haven't finished like all the side content and stuff. Plus, I have to go through and farm the boss a few times to get some of the legendary weapons. But
gotta get her done.
I can't tell if they did it on purpose or if it just so happened that, like, you know, it just so happened that way. But it's definitely a tongue-in-cheek thing. I'm like 95% sure that their first DLC is literally just a giant fucking casino. And I think it's supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek thing of like how everyone was tweaking out at this time last year of like, oh, microtransactions, fucking, it's gambling. And then GTA comes out with the fucking casino DLC. It's gambling.
And now there's a casino heist. It's gambling.
And it's literally called what is it? Moxie's Heist at the Handsome Jackpot or something like that.
I think it's just a complete jab, no doubts. And that's made by 2K, right? 2K is a banner for it?
2K is the publisher.
Yeah, because, well, you remember that NBA was NBA.
Yeah.
They had a direct jab. It was 2K. NBA. That was it. They were like gambling. I
remember that. Literally, the trailer for the frickin' My Team in NBA 2K20 was literally just. It was like it's like a minute.
Gambling.
The trailer's like a minute. And out of that minute, there was like 4 seconds of actual basketball, and the other 56 seconds was like random Twitch streamers sitting on a couch pretending to like opening loot boxes, and they're like, "Fuck yeah! I just got my fucking Karl Malone pink diamond card. Fuck yeah!"
Yep. And then obviously everyone's like, "Yo, it's gambling." I mean, I guess in theory I think they're the main reason why now in 2020, starting with microtransactions and loot boxes, they have to give their percentages to like the board or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Them and fucking EA.
It's a legit real thing with gambling on games, but like it was just funny with the casino and the gambling and the coins.
I didn't even honestly. I never even made that connection until you said it about between.
Yeah, I remember you bringing
Gearbox and NBA 2K. I honestly didn't even make that connection until now.
Yeah, but I was like, oh yeah, did NBA get like a lot of shit for a trailer?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right, number 1, JP, and I'm about 97% sure we both have the same number 1. So.
Could I have a hint? Just to make sure.
Starts with a C.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. We're gonna have the same one. All right. So 3, 2, 1.
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Holy shit.
Well, we totally geeked
and
the hell
some
out.
People might be mad about this, that that's a remake, that doesn't count. Well,
technically it's a new game. Throwing in with a remake.
At this point, it's a new game.
It's a new game. This game, well, we geeked the living hell out of this when we were bringing it up. And then Tyler was just kind of like chilling, like, and we're all like, yo, we should play CTR, Tyler.
Yeah, we brought this up in our top 10 games of the decade.
And we geeked the fuck out.
And we're about to do it again.
We're about to do it again. I guess we'll keep it short because we're like at like an hour and 12 minutes. But
and
I don't know.
Probably the pizza's almost here,
and the pizza's probably almost here. So on top of what we already geeked about on that, I just think it's just amazing how they took the core of one game, technically an expansion, which was Nitro Kart in my opinion, just slam that in there made a whole new game around that, remastered, and then they're adding in a whole new game's worth of content. At this point, it may be even go into 2 games by the time they're done with all the content drops. And of course, this brought up the Spyro versus Crash racing game, which damn well should happen.
Please.
I'm sure Activision is just like jizzing their pants at the idea.
Mr. Activision, please do it.
And
I'll buy 1,000 copies.
Dude,
Probably not. I'm poor.
Dude,
but I will buy at least 1 copy.
If they made that, my first objective would be to buy 5 Wampa crates on that game. And I will stick to that promise if that game comes out. And this podcast will be proof of that. Yep. I'm dedicated. I will do it.
But, like, the thing for me is, like you said, you start off with
the core game.
The core Crash Team Racing. Bringing it back, building it from the ground up, making it feel exactly how you remember it feeling
literally
20 years ago.
And I played it when it first came out 20 years ago, and I was a fiend and addicted to it and played it for years to come. 20 years later, even better at the game now, even more addicted to the game, and sure as hell will be playing it for as long as I live.
The amount of fan service in this game is, it's like, you can tell that, like, where Activision went wrong with Crash when they had it under, like, say, Radical Entertainment and stuff like that. And not to say that Radical or whoever wasn't fans of the franchise. I'm sure they were.
They just didn't know
what the hell to take it into the directions they took it with Mind Over Mutant and all that other crap. No. But Beanox, you can tell they're like, okay, people like the core trilogy plus CTR. What can we do to what the original game was to, keep that fanfare? And even, like, not counting, like, before the DLCs and stuff even started coming out, and you had, okay, well, let's add in everything from Nitro Kart. All the characters, karts, tracks, everything.
All
modes.
Let's get it done.
Battle arenas. Whatever. So you add that all in. Then you get all the, like I said, all the characters and everything. Then you add all these skins for people. The rotating shop. All the customization options, the stickers, the paint jobs, the wheels,
everything. It's like they literally are just going and going. There's a rumor. At this point, I can see why they would add it, because everything's essentially in the game. There's a rumor that they are going to add the Nitro Kart adventure mode into.
I heard that rumor.
I could see it happening, because realistically, you already have all the assets in the game. Just make the warp rooms and brighten the game. See, like, the cool part is, I would love to know when they started making content for this game, how long it takes them, when they're releasing it, because every Grand Prix, they keep throwing all this stuff out, and we're talking, like, slews and, like, 4 carts a pack, and 4 unique paint schemes a pack, along with more on top of the theme, like the lemon swirl and the chocolate cappuccino.
So it's like unique paint jobs, but then also paint jobs that are themed around the thing. So like you said, with the most recent, like the Christmas Grand Prix, it's all based on, the paint jobs are all based on sweets. So there's like caramel glazed, lemon, sweet lemon or whatever,
pistachio or whatever,
stuff like that.
Pistachio.
And then you have like reindeer crash and fucking.
Then you have like.
Winter Polar and things like that, and the new characters they keep adding in,
and
the new tracks, the new carts,
the new cups, the new everything, new game modes.
Whoever thought when this game launched, or like if you played CTR years ago, whoever would have thought that we would have a game with like 40 plus racers, 30 tracks, literally 40 carts.
This is like Crash.
Like 150 paint jobs.
This is like Crash Team Racing Battle Royale, practically. Everybody is in that has ever existed.
It's literally, it's as close as I think Crash can get at this point, and it's gonna just keep going as far as we know. It's the closest that Crash Bandicoot fans will get to the moment that Smash Brothers fans had. When they revealed Smash Brothers Ultimate, where it's every single Smash Brothers character ever. And I just remember like the hype surrounding that, because I remember the E3 trailer, and it was, we knew that there was a new Smash Brothers coming, but all we had gotten was the logo. That was just Super Smash Brothers. And people are like, what is it going to be? what is it? Like, is it just... People thought it might just be like a port of the Wii U version. People thought maybe it would be something new. But then they reveal Smash Brothers Ultimate, and it's every character, every stage, everything from Smash Brothers history. And I just remember how hype that trailer was, because it's just like...
It was insane.
It's just like, oh, Super Smash Brothers, and it's just, a bunch of people fighting. It's just like showing off, like, oh, what characters are in, and then it just keeps going and going, and it's like, everybody's here, and then it shows every single fucking character. It's and insane. That's what CTR is turning into. Like, we have what's its name? Yaya Panda from
Panda.
From Crash Boom game. Bang on the 3DS.
Apparently, they might add Mr. Crumb in the game. Apparently, I think they're just gonna add every single.
And we've gotten what now? Two completely brand new characters that were never a thing before. Hasty, which was Fasty. Was Fasty,
CTR, but yeah, that happened.
And King Chicken, which is just a completely new thing.
Apparently, they're just gonna add literally. I just think they're gonna add every character. They're gonna add like the Tiki guy. They're gonna add the Neo Core guys. They're gonna add probably every single NPC you can imagine that people relate to in the game. By the end of this, it's gonna be insane.
Like, the crazy thing is like, when the game first came out and we were hearing like, oh, they were going to be doing DLC and new racers, there used to be memes of stuff like, oh, let's get like the Neo henchman in, and let's get the Warthog from fucking Hogwild in there, and let's get fucking all this crazy shit. And it's like, I can see it happening now. Like, I could see the Warthog from Hogwild being in one of the next DLCs.
Yeah, I could see it. And any unused asset and character that's been scrapped will probably come back.
Apparently, the rumor for the next, like, big Grand Prix character is Mega Mix, which I don't know if you know what that is, but in one of the GBA games, Mega Mix was...
I heard it's going to be themed for Mad Max as well.
It's like
it's gonna be cool.
Weird genetic, like... mixture of I think it's Cortex, Dingodile, Engine, and Tiny.
I remember that. Yeah, I heard that's coming. They're basically just gonna add every goddamn character. Like, and this is the ultimate. And they need a new Spyro. They're gonna get a new Spyro Grand Prix apparently.
I hope so.
With new characters and every. I think they're gonna add every important.
Probably
character.
Be like
Sergeant Bird.
Yeah, I can see them doing. By the end of the game's life cycle, I think it'll be 3 Spyro Grand Prix, and we'll end up getting just about everyone that's important.
It's just absolutely insane knowing that, like, if you told me that 20 years ago, I'd be like, well, could I, like, go 20 years in the future then? Because that sounds pretty dope.
Could you, like, it's just crazy
it's just perfect.
It's crazy to me that you take a game that's 20 years old, that has, in its original format, has, 10 racers, 12 tracks, an adventure mode, which... For the time, the adventure mode is insane. Like, that was the first kart racing story mode, as far as I know. But then, you take that as your base, and now here we are, like I said, 40 racers, 30 tracks, 40 karts.
Online play.
50 wheels, online play, online matchmaking, online battling. Freaking 4-way split screen, which I think that was in the original game.
I looked the other day for the wheels, and there's like 112 wheels.
Oh, yeah.
In the game. It's becoming the ultimate thing, and to tell you the truth, after they finish it and they make a sequel, all they have to do is, honestly, they could literally just pick all their favorites from CTR Nitro Fueled and put the levels, the wheels, the paint scheme, all their favorites, and if people request them, just throw them back in free DLC.
Realistically, if they make it on the same engine, they could literally just build on Nitro Fueled and just add on top of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're probably just going to take Nitro Fueled and just literally like their favorite stuff of Nitro Fueled and then add in a whole slew of new shit and make a new game.
They could literally probably just call it like Crash Team Racing 2 or something like that. Or like Crash Team Racing 2 Spyro and Friends or something like that.
Either that or CTR Ultimate. That would be something. Wow. But then again, they'd have to add it all in. Honestly, though, just geeking about it, there's just so much that they could do, man. It's going to be unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. But, yeah, with that being said, since we already geeked a lot in the top 10 games of the decade of CTR, you guys have seen it. If you're watching this right now, most likely. If not, you should go definitely check that out, because we had Tyler on there.
And check it out.
It's one hell of a countdown, and the Sony Jabroni name was coined, and the King of the North name was coined, and I got my trademark Abstract Rocker, so we were just fully going all out, and I'd say made one hell of a countdown. Just like we did now.
We definitely did.
Yep.
But with that being said, guys, just remember, these are our personal lists. If you guys don't agree, let us know what your top 3 favorite games of 2019 are down in the comments below.
WB2K20?
Definitely not. But with that being said, guys, this has been Pizza and Pixels, the show where myself, the Sony Jabroni, and JP, the Abstract Rocker,
Sony Jabroni,
where we order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up, even though the pizza hasn't showed up yet.
Even
but
though the pizza's MIA,
that's our local Domino's for you.
our Domino's sucks, but we're trying it. So we're gonna go get that pizza, no doubts.
But with that being said, that podcast, or this podcast, I should say, goes live every other Saturday at youtube.com/HexxedPhenom or on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, really any podcast service of your choosing.
Anywhere you can find it.
Anywhere you can find it. And with that being said, guys, until next time, another one bites the crust.